Every single blue check mark on Twitter is crying right now. And they're very vocal about it. It's almost like they're experts in the field and they have so much to communicate, to tell you what a horror is being committed. And I'm like, okay, well, the gas prices are at a historical record high. Like, you're living in history right now. Food prices are up. Crime levels are up. The Russians are attacking. The Chinese are salivating as they look towards Taiwan. And the only thing that the left has to offer is like social issues. Food for the soul. It's like a religion. It's not for the body, it's for the soul. You get to feel good while championing social issues. It's kind of like the left can't deliver the bread anymore, but they do deliver the circus. I mean, I do get why people are upset about it, because there have been multiple discussions on Twitch. I have seen streamers in front of the microphone giving their opinion, and you need to be very serious because this is an issue of great concern. I mean, you really care about this thing. And the conversation was like, oh, why does it concern you? Why do you care? I mean, you can't have an opinion unless it affects you, you know? I guess it affects the women that want to get a scholarship. I mean, now it's the team of experts that have decided, because the right-wingers are bigots. Well, I guess FINA, the World Swimming Governing Body, is filled with bigotry, a lot of bigots, powerful, strong bigots in there that came up to the conclusion that under the new rules, transgender women can only compete in women races if they have completed their transition by the age of 12. They will then have to prove that they are continuously suppressing their T levels. I mean, this is horrible. We are clearly reverting back to the Middle Ages. I don't know why people thought that trans athletes have any advantage towards women. Like what gave them that idea? I just can't imagine why. Just a bunch of bigots, aren't they? I mean, I personally love the idea of having trans women competing in women's sports because I watch the sports for entertainment. And I was really curious to see what China is going to bring up at the Olympics. Did you know the harsh training that China has towards their athletes since they're children? So imagine if they realize that there might be an advantage here. I was curious to see what they're going to bring forward, but my dream is slowly closing if this type of bigotry carries on. Where can I sign a petition? Because that's what you need to do, right? I'll do a TikTok dance, and then I'll sign a petition in order to revert this, because I don't like it. I want my entertainment. It was hilarious. Leah Thomas, the transgender swimmer who smashed women's records this year, will be banned from competing against biological women in the international event after the World Swimming Governing Body announced on Sunday that is banning transgender athletes who went through male puberty. I'm really curious, like, how do they justify if some sports ban it and other sports allow it? Like, for example, if she's not allowed swimming, but she's allowed cycling or other activities. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? The International Federation of Sports for Swimming announced on Sunday that it is changing its policy so that trans women can only compete in the organization's women races if they have completed their transition by the age of 12. You want your child to participate in the women's sports? Start transitioning now. I believe the pharmaceutical companies earn around $1 million per person, give or take. There's profits to be made here. They will then have to prove to the federation that they will have continuously suppressed their testosterone levels since that time. To accommodate the trans athletes, through FIDA is setting up an open category for trans athletes to compete against one another at events. Do they have enough trans people to have like a entire trans category? That would be also interesting to watch. I'd watch it. A working group will spend the next 6 months to determine how the open category would operate. We have to protect the rights of our athletes to compete. But we also have to protect competitive fairness. Such policy would prevent Thomas. By the way, another question, right? This opens up another predicament. Would there be the case where a trans person isn't allowed to compete with other women at swimming, but if they happen to commit a crime, they're taken to a women's prison? The social predicaments that this is going to cause, isn't it? Working group will spend the next 6 months to determine how the open category would operate. Her quick rise to the top of the women's chart, though, has caused an uproar. Oh, people are just jealous, man. I don't know why people are so worked up about it. The decision to ban transgender athletes was made during the Federation Extraordinary General Congress. Look at the bigotry. They even created an Extraordinary General Congress. Shame on them. Members of the organization heard from a trans task force comprising on leading medical, legal, and sports figures. Oh my fucking god, the experts. At the time, but they didn't have Dr. Fauci. Like, Dr. Fauci is the science. How can you have the science without Dr. Fauci? What nonsense is this? The experts concluded in their policy what right-wing bigots have concluded on Twitter long ago and on YouTube, I believe like 5 years ago, the bigots have concluded. And now the experts finally caught up that standards based on biological sex, without eligibility standards based on biological sex or sex-linked traits, we are very unlikely to see biological females in finals, on podiums, on championship positions. Oh my god, like how do these right-wing bigots on Twitter predicted this shit 5 years ago? Every single person that had a conversation with Vosh knew. Like, Vosh must be baffled right now. Like, Vosh is probably dismayed. Like, his entire world is shaking. It's like, how did those imbeciles knew what the experts haven't decided yet? Like, look, human knowledge is gained through the experts. It's not through the scientific process. No, it's from the institutions. The institutions are the ones that give the science to the people. And yet there were imbeciles on Twitter that knew about this from years before. Like, their bigotry gave them knowledge. Oh. A biological athlete cannot overcome the advantage through training or nutrition, nor they can take additional testosterone to obtain the same advantage. Because testosterone is prohibited. Oh my god, I would love to live in a world where, like, women are allowed to take testosterone in order to be better swimmers. That would be entertaining. I would love to see that. And finally, you would have video games like The Last of Us 2 making realistic depictions of women. Like, the Abby from The Last of Us 2 would actually be like, oh yeah, she's like a athlete swimmer. Around 50% voted no to the policy on eligibility in the men's and women competition, while 13% abstained. Why did they abstain, though? They need to be fired. They should have voted do not ban. No to banning. I will set up a working group to set up an open category at our meets. We will be the first federation to do that. Yeah, very interesting. Like, again, you can be a trans woman, you can't swim, but you can go bicycling. America, yes. The circus is still available. The bread, not so much. The price of bread is rising, but the circus is free. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.